What's up, everyone? We are back for another episode of TMP, and today my guest, very special guest, the DLB, Miss Dana Linn Bailey. What's up, champ?
What is up? How are you?
I'm great. I'm like, this whole week I was so excited to get to talk to you on a podcast because everybody wants to talk to Dana, but not everybody can get to you. So it's not that easy because you're a busy woman.
Unless you're very important.
Dana, I really listen. This as a fan and as a person that watched you, been following you for so many years. I really appreciate you taking the time talking to me. And I this will probably be one of my favorite podcasts I've done so far, and I've done quite a few. They're not all out there yet, but they will air. So I want to say that right up off the bat. Thank you for making the time, and thank you for
of course
coming on and supporting the show. So
I appreciate it.
I know Dana Linn Bailey as the first women physique Olympia champ. I know Dana Linn Bailey as, for me, I don't know even how to explain this, but in short, I want to say you are without a doubt the only female athlete in our industry, in the bodybuilding and fitness industry, that has rock star status. You're the only one. And I know this doesn't affect you at all, because this, I have to say, looking from the outside, seeing, how, what you do to the fitness industry and what you do to the people, like just with appearances alone. But I want to get to that a little bit later. What I want to ask you in the beginning is, tell me, who was Dana Linn Bailey growing up as a kid before bodybuilding? Did you do any other sports? What was Dana Linn Bailey doing in high school?
I was doing every sport.
So you've always been an athlete, always?
Yeah, I was a 6-sport athlete for like a good part of my life. I was playing like usually I was like on a traveling soccer team, a traveling track team. I started swimming. So I swam since I was 5 years old. I joined the swim team at 5. So I was an 8 and under for a very long time. I swam, played soccer, basketball, field hockey, track. Swimming, basketball, soccer, field hockey, track. Softball.
You know what I just witnessed, and I like that because I just witnessed you do it the European way. You count the European way. You start with your thumb. See?
Yeah.
That's how I grew up in Europe. We start with the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the U.S., it's 1, 2, 3. They start from the back. You didn't.
Oh, really? I've always done my thumb.
You never realized in the U.S. everybody starts counting from the back with the pinky finger.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. So I'm glad you do it the European way.
I'm gonna ask someone to count for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see what they do because I've literally have always done it this way.
I started to switch it because I feel stupid doing it this way here in the United States.
I feel like it's harder this way.
Because you never do it. That's why.
1, 2. I can't even. My fingers don't like to go that way.
Yeah. Anyways, so you were doing 6 sports all at the same time, basically?
Yeah. Generally, I would go from like a practice, and then like on the weekends, like I would be. Like we'd have practices during the week for like traveling soccer. But once I got to high school, I sort of had to like narrow it down. So in high school, I chose field hockey in the fall, basketball in the winter, and then soccer in the spring. But then during the summer, I was a lifeguard. So I also like swam on the team, but I didn't really like go to practice.
No? So are you like a hyperactive person?
I don't think I'm hyperactive. I just always like sports. I always like playing stuff. I would definitely involve, like, my parents were like definitely pushed me into things. So even things that like I didn't want to play, like I didn't want to play softball, but they sort of like, well, we signed you up, so you're going.
So you sometimes you did sports just because your parents want you to do them?
Yeah, I mean, but then I ended up and I loved it anyway. So okay. I was actually I was very, very shy as a kid.
Really?
And yeah, my parents I just wouldn't talk. Like if I didn't have just unless you asked me a question, I did not talk.
Like the total opposite of today.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. What made you change? When did that happen? When did you feel like all of a sudden you went from a shy, quiet?
I started opening up definitely like once I was in high school. Like I had like my group of friends, which they were all like athletes like me. So they were all playing. They were just, I ran with like the jock crew. So,
So were you also real popular in high school?
I mean, I did get nominated to homecoming court.
I mean, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. That's just you.
I didn't win though. I didn't win. But yeah, I did get nominated. I ran around with guys a lot. So like I ran around with the girls that were super athletes, but a lot of the times like there was like the popular girls, I guess, or the mean girls didn't like me because I hung out with dudes, but I wasn't hanging out with dudes to like actually hang out. Like I was going to be like, oh, what are you doing after school? Oh, you're going to the basketball court? Cool. I'm going to come play. And I would play pickup games with the guys. So yeah, girls didn't like that very much. So that's
probably where you got your competitive personality got from.
And my mom.
Oh, really? Your mom's the same?
My mom is so competitive. It's so funny because she's like competitive. Like she plays pickleball right now. I don't know if you know what pickleball is.
I have no idea.
It's like a giant, giant ping pong. I don't know.
And what do you do with it? What do you do with it?
They have paddles and you like hit it back and forth, but she's so competitive. Like she's competitive in board games, but I feel like we all sort of were competitive. So like my family's very we get together for holidays and games are very important. Like she always has to be like playing games and she's very competitive.
So looking back, when you look back at the 6 sports that you did, which one were you the most successful in?
Soccer. So I went on after high school. I got recruited to play soccer for Westchester University as a defense. So we played a 2-back. So me and my best friend.
That's awesome.
2-back.
So
it was a lot of running.
You were good. Yeah, I was really good in soccer too. I played soccer for 14 years in Germany. I grew up in Germany, so that was a sport.
Yeah.
You played.
It was always my favorite. It's the one like I kept. Like that's the one sport I played year round. So I played on like indoor teams and then I played for like premier teams that you like have to try out for to like get on the team. So I was always playing soccer year round, regardless of what else was happening. So
when did you switch over? When did you start lifting weights and when did you say, this is what I want to do?
Pretty much after soccer was over. So that's where I met Rob. So Rob played football for Westchester. So I actually met him the first day of preseason. So they put like all the athletes in the same dorm because we come 2 weeks before everybody to like get ready and get in shape for the season. And they put all the athletes together. And I met Rob literally the first day. And I was like, he's interesting. but we didn't like start dating until like a couple years later. But after soccer was over, like Rob and I were dating at that point, and I had all this like time on my hands because I'd be done classes by like noon because I like to get them over with. And then I had all this time on my hands, and he was working at a restaurant, and he would do a morning shift. He was sort of going to school, barely, but I don't know. He definitely was working way more than going to school. Right. So he would do his prep shift all the way up to noon. And then there was like a 2-hour block that he would go to the gym. And then he'd go back in for like actual service. So he worked on the line as a sous chef. So he's actually a fantastic cook.
Okay.
So I wouldn't get to see him until like 11 o'clock at night. So he's like, well, if you want to see me, I'll be at the gym from 2 to 4. So I was like, okay, I'll come.
Oh, so that's how it started. Because you wanted to see him, so you went to the gym to see him, and you said, might as well start training.
I was the needy girlfriend that wanted to hang out.
That is awesome.
Like, can I come too?
So how old were you how long ago was that? That was...
So that was probably like 2003.
2003.
Yeah. I probably started around 2003.
So
yeah,
you started lifting weights because you wanted to see him in the gym. So you said, we got 2 hours. I might as well get a little workout in.
Yeah.
When did you catch the bug? When did you say, oh, damn, this is kind of nice?
I instantly, because obviously I have a very competitiveness to me, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I literally would follow exactly what he did. So day one, we benched. So it was, I know. It's like the first time I'm like really actually lifting was like, oh, well, it's chest day. So, and he was definitely the gym I started at was so cool. Do you remember Brian Chamberlain?
The name sounds
familiar. He was like a 212 from a long time ago, but it was his gym. He was an IFBB pro. And it was his gym, the coolest gym ever. There were no girls lifting back there. It was just me like benching. It's like, this is a time when girls like didn't lift. Like now it's like super normal. And all the girls were on the cardio machines and I'm back there just like benching with dudes. And if that's normal to me. So I felt very, very normal. I forget what I was even talking about.
We'll talk about when you started training.
Yeah. So the competitive side was like, he pushed me like the guys that he trained with pushed him. So knowing that he's training with like massive guys, like they would knowing that he can't do incline over 315, they were like, well, just try 405. If you can't get it, whatever. So he would do the same thing to me. And he, like, I remember finally getting the quarters and I could like bench quarters. And like, he would just throw 45s on. He was just like, I just want you to hold it. And like, he would just lift it up and down, but it made me like comfortable with being under heavy weights. So then when I finally got to that, it wasn't like this scary thing.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. And it was like, I just always had goals. So like, I remember pull-ups was like a huge goal. Like I could only do like 1 or 2. So every day we started with pull-ups and like, every day I just tried to do more and more and more. So it was like a constant like competition with myself. Like, let's see how much I can bench this week. Let's see how much I can squat this week. I was just I progressed really fast because we were basically maxing out every time we went to the gym.
Was Rob competing at that time or was it just training?
No, he never competed. He just like, when he started at that gym, he just rolled with like this crew of like just big bodybuilder guys. And like, they were probably all on gear. It didn't matter. But he just kind of learned from them and did kind of his own thing with like that whole bodybuilder side. So I immediately came into it already training sort of like a bodybuilder, like with the like chest day, back day, shoulder day, leg day, like
right. So when did you first see female bodybuilding or women physique? Well, there was no women physique at that time, I think.
No.
So it was probably fitness and figure.
So the only reason so again, I'm super competitive and I'm a little bit of an asshole as well. So there were 2 girls that were training at the gym and they were training for a figure show. I had no idea what the heck that was, but they were just like constantly complaining. And they're like, oh my God, I have to do cardio and I have this gal, I have to drink all this water. Like just complaining about it the whole time. And I was like, I don't know. I just started lifting weights. I look better than them. I'll do it too. And I signed up for it.
So your body responded really, really fast. You obviously have great genetics.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
I mean, I am an athlete. I've been an athlete my entire life. And I just remembered like seeing like shoulders start to form. Probably like 6 months in, I was like, wow, like things are starting to actually like grow. This is amazing. And then by the end of the year, like I had signed up for my first show. Never went to a show in my life. Never saw one.
So you never even seen girls pose and figured nothing.
No.
Did you have someone teach you how to walk?
So Brian, he at the time, Rob was going to art school. So he left Westchester, went to art school. And in trade for Rob, like redesigning Brian's logo for the gym, I think it was his logo, Brian was going to help me with like diet. And then his girlfriend, I think one day showed me how to pose.
So she gave you a couple of sessions or one session?
He did. He like kind of helped me with the diet. I look back at what I was eating, and I was eating like lunch meat and stuff. I'm like, what the heck?
I think we all the same in the beginning. So you entered the show as a figure girl.
And yeah, the first time I went to the show, I was in it, and I remember standing in line, and I was like crying. I was like, what did I sign myself up for? I don't know what I'm doing. And then like got myself, because again, I'm still like shy Dana at this point. I'm like obviously a lot better, but like still in the back of me, I'm like, I'm going to be on stage in front of a bunch of people in this tiny little weird bikini. Actually, we had we had the one piece and the two piece. In this velour bedazzled bikini. What am I doing? So I got in line, like, and we were going out, and all I knew was, okay, front, side, back, side, turn, like, all I knew that. And we get in line because they're going to announce us, and they're like, okay, ladies, you're going to do your, what do they call it? Your model pose. Model pose, back pose, model pose. I'm like, wait, what's a model pose? What do you mean? I don't know this. I thought we were going here. So a nice girl like helped me. She's like, no, just one hand on the hip and this and that. And I got 6th place.
First show, not knowing what to do. First show you ever watched, you were in it. And you placed 6th.
I can't say the competition was that good because I looked at myself and I looked terrible. I had, so from like my abs up, like I've always been super lean upwards. So like I had really nice shoulders, like a pretty decent back, and then I had a 6-pack, and then my legs were just soft.
Yeah.
Just
but your first show, you placed 6th at your first show. But then looking back at how you train, you don't train like a figure girl. So you
no.
So you went back to your training, and then you basically said, like, listen, I got to do this. I got to pose.
Yeah. So so after the first show, I was like, okay, well, let's just keep doing these because this gives me like a reason. It gives me a reason why I'm in the gym. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, cool, I'll just do this show. And a lot of times I would find out about a show like, oh, there's a show in 6 weeks. I was like, cool, I'll just do it. Because I never really got too far out of shape. I also didn't really get that great in shape as an amateur the first couple years. But like I always just stayed exactly the same. And then I would literally do a show. I would diet down for like 6 to 8 weeks and be like, oh, hop on stage, sign up for another one. And I usually did terrible. I usually did pretty bad.
When did you turn pro? What year?
2011.
2000. Feels like forever.
Yeah,
that was like 10 years ago.
It was a really long time ago.
Yeah, but it feels like I literally feel like this is way longer than 10 years.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity ago, but then again, it also feels like it was like yesterday. It's weird it's so odd.
So you turned pro at what show, the Nationals or what show?
Junior USA's in Charleston.
Wasn't that the first women physique?
Yep.
Weren't you the first women physique pro?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I remember. Now I'm following exactly because I remember you were the first one to turn pro in women physique, and you were also the first women physique Olympia champ.
I like a lot of firsts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. So I went as a figure competitor because every time I would I would go to the judges and they'd be like, well, stop training so hard. Like, stop training so heavy. Stop doing so many abs. Like, you need to be softer. It's weird because it's completely opposite now.
Right.
But I used to get marked down for having abs. Like, they would be like, no, you're too hard and like too big. So I realized that, like, you know what, like, it doesn't really matter how well I'm doing, because we had started like YouTube channel and like we started Flagner Fail, and I was starting to gain traction, not because of shows, because I wasn't winning.
Because of what you did outside the gym, yes.
Because people enjoyed the way I trained, because I was training with my husband and just sitting down and grabbing 100-pound dumbbells and doing 100-pound bench press with dumbbells.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
Because girls weren't doing that at all.
No, it's crazy. You're very competitive, and you train with guys, and you compete with guys. I remember you came to Phoenix. You trained with me and Big Ramy. You remember that?
I don't want to say I don't like training with girls. It's just like, it almost feels more natural, because even like just training with Rob, and then his brother moved in with us for a little bit, and we just always trained as like a little trio. I've just always trained with guys. It's almost like I just feel more natural in that aspect, because generally when I train with a female, I'm the leader. When I train with guys, it's almost like we're group, like I'll pick an exercise and then they'll pick an exercise, like, or I want to follow them because they're bigger than me. I want to follow someone that's bigger than me. Like,
you like to be challenged. You like the challenge.
Yeah.
And it shows. I mean, I remember when we were training, you know, I knew you. I knew what you were capable of. Ramy didn't. And he kept telling me after, I said, did you see how she was training? I said, she was stronger than dudes. I said, that's a very intense female, for real.
Yeah.
I said, absolutely. She is, I told him, I said, that's unbelievable. That was awesome. And I remember when we announced you coming to the gym, I have never seen so many people show up at the gym just to meet Linn Bailey. So, flag nor fail. Tell me exactly what that stands for.
So flag stands for like a white flag, and then nor makes it, so it's a whole like no surrender, no failure kind of motto, that it's everything we put on shirts, even like to the logo itself, flag nor fail. It was always like, before we got into flag nor fail, we had started with another business that like with someone that was evil and took advantage of us, but we didn't let that, instead of going back to our 9 to 5s, we decided to make this little dream that we wanted work. So it was like just stuff that we say to ourselves all the time to keep us moving forward and progressing.
Right. So you traveled somewhat through a lot of states in the United States. How many states did you go through with the Porsches? I remember you got.
Well, I mean, that was a 30-day tour. Was that Porsche tour on the way back? We started from Las Vegas, and then we had to end in North Carolina for Drew's wedding. So that one was a shorter one, but that was just from Vegas. But since that one, we did 2 more adventure tours, all revolving around the Olympia. So we would start in Pennsylvania, we'd go all the way down to Texas, all the way up, hit the Olympia. And then we would go the top side, come all the way up to Washington, Montana, and then do a full loop in 30 days. Stopping, so exciting. We haven't done it in the last couple of years, but we just got a new rig. So we're thinking about doing it again this year because it was so fun. So we would literally go to mountains. We would post the day before, hey, meet us at this trailhead. We're going to start our hike at 7 a.m. And we'd get there, and there would be 100 people there to hike up a mountain with us.
Yeah, and that's unbelievable.
The other people coming down the mountain, what the hell is happening? There's empty, onward. And then we would obviously stop at gyms along the way and do gym ups.
So you set those gyms up. You let them know. Listen, we're in town, and we're coming in, and for them to announce it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to watch how many people you attract just by showing up. And and people they don't understand. When I said you have rock star status, I mean you have a legit rock star status in our industry. There's no other female that can attract any crowd when it comes, and you're not even competing. You've been retired, and I'm going to ask you why if you retired, but I wanted to say you are for me, and there's no person on this planet that can say anything different. The most happy person. I mean, that's what it looks like to us when it comes to interacting with your fans. Can you even get mad? Have you ever been mad in your life?
Oh yeah.
Well, probably in the gym, and you use that,
No, I'm a happy lifter. I lift the best. Like Rob's an angry lifter. He used to purposely pick a fight with me because he lifts better when he's in a bad mood and angry. I'm the bubbly one, dancing around.
You are so unbelievable likable. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't think anybody can say, "Oh, I don't like her." There's no possible way. You came to the. I remember I've watched this with my own eyes. There were people waiting hours for you to come in to train. There was this one particular girl that I knew her. You walked to the gym. She saw you. She started crying. I said, that's what you call rock star status. Then you went up to her and hugged her for 3 minutes.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I don't, not.
No, you've probably done this so many times that you don't know what that was.
Only because I've done it a lot. I have that. I don't know why
because your personality is unbelievable. I love your personality. I look at you. And I try to take things from there. I said, the way she interact with fans, and it shows. Anyway, it doesn't matter where you go. I can put you in front of the fucking zoo and put a sign out. Linn Bailey will be here buying a ticket. And there will be people, I've seen, it doesn't matter. In Australia, you have the longest lines of anybody. There's nobody with lines longer than yours. And you stand there. Not only you and Rob. I got to say, Rob is the same way. You and Rob together stand there like a rock solid team. Nobody gets left, without the picture. Everybody gets his smile. And this is what I admire with you two. Because you two, and for us, and this is something that I like to see because in our industry, how hard it is for couples to stay together.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you have success like the way you have it, where you're always on the go. You know what I mean? There's stress situations where you got to be on time, you hurry up. And, you guys look like a rock solid team,
Yeah,
it looks, from us, it looks like you guys are perfectly made for each other. You guys harmonize. It looks like a perfect couple. And that's why I think you guys have not only the success, but that's why you guys can get it done because you guys understand what this is all about.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is we understand because I mean, we're now just actually having the marriage that obviously I feel like we should have had because there was probably 8 years of our lives that we didn't have a marriage. Everything was growing a business or when we first started, we were dead broke. There were times where we're I don't know if we can afford to pay our house this month. And when you're both on board and hey, we have to do this and we have to make it work, then you make sacrifices. So yeah, we didn't go on vacations. Our vacation, I guess, was every weekend we were at an expo, but a lot of times to save money, Austin would be in the room with us. So we never had our own room, and we didn't actually get to do anything fun. It was you wake up, you do expo, and then it's 8 hours at expo. I try to train and then I die and I go to bed and then I do it again the next day. So it was just it was I would say there was 6 really, really hard years. And it was a lot of him supporting me of knowing that okay, she's gaining some traction. Let's keep this going and see where it happens. Because if we build me up, Flagner Fail will also build up. So that was the whole goal. And then just leaving him alone, knowing, not being hey, we never go out on dates or so, why don't you take me out on dates? We were just so no, this is, we're on the same freaking road. Right. So let's just get there.
So you guys had a game plan and said, you go follow through. Who's the brain in the relationship?
Oh, Rob, for sure.
Rob?
He's definitely the visionary.
Do you guys argue sometimes when he comes up with an idea? Do you argue? Do you doubt that what he says is sometimes, do you ever said no to something?
I have, and it's only stuff where it has to do with other people. And if other people give me a wrong vibe, I'm very into as weird, it's not spiritual, but if someone gives me the wrong vibe and I don't trust them, then I'm like, no, something's telling me it's not a good idea. And if I ever speak up, because I don't really speak up all that much, I'm more someone that's like, okay, that's what you want to do. That's you tell me what to do and I execute. So he's the visionary. I'm the executor. Okay. I'm obviously very good at executing. Oh, you want me to follow this diet, George? Cool. I'm on it. I don't stray. I'm a good executor.
And he knows.
I have full faith that he always makes the right decisions, even when they seem crazy. I'm always the person that backs him. There's a lot of people around us that don't always back him, but he can always count on me. Cool, that's what you want to do. Let's do it.
And that shows. It shows that you guys have each other's backs, and I really love it. I love seeing this because, like I said, you don't see a lot of couples last. Especially
it's hard.
It's very hard.
I can't. Our marriage hasn't been rainbows and butterflies. You obviously only see the best parts of everything. But definitely we have a really solid foundation. And it's nice now that we're finally building our first ever headquarters. We're in Montana, which is our favorite place to ever be. We moved everything out here. So now we're finally all that hard, grueling work that we put in, and maybe we didn't have the best relationship ever because it didn't exist. We were more just business partners, if anything. Now we're finally now we can enjoy our time together.
Right. Are you planning to retire completely from anything, or?
You know what? I don't know. So every single year, I'm should I do the shit? Should I do the Olympia? Because I'm missing
the competition.
That's just there's a void in my life, and I can't say that's the only thing that I should be doing. So that's why I did the powerlifting for a little bit, but I don't know. I just don't really like it. I instantly, my back started hurting. I was this isn't fun. I just hurt all the time.
Why did you decide to step away from the stage? What was the reason?
Rob stepped in and just said, "Hey, you need a break."
Did you feel like you were burned out?
No, I would still be competing to this day. I could, especially if I was only doing the Olympia every year, I could still do it. But he saw me it changes you as a person. Yeah.
Okay. People speculate, of course, and I was speculating too. So why? I said, at the end of the day, business-wise, you don't need the Olympia. Okay?
Yeah.
You can survive. You make your own business. You have your own brand. You are DLB. There's no such thing. There's no the one and only. But as a competitor, I'm telling myself, why would she stop? She's winning. You won the Olympia, and did you come back the next year?
Yeah, I got second the next year. I looked even better second year and got second. I don't know how. Whatever.
Who did you get second to? Was it Juliana?
Juliana.
Okay.
Who also phenomenal.
Yeah.
But and then I did the Arnold after that, got second again, and that was fine. But that was probably the best thing that ever happened, was getting second. Because in my head, when I was first, it put so much stress on me, because I don't know, the next year, which I did, I think I looked 3 times better the second year. I was leaner, I was harder, my legs were better, everything was so much better. But I got second, and I instantly was like, oh my God, this is it. My life is over. No one's going to follow. You could just go through, you make really dumb things in your head, your world just is falling apart, and no one's going to follow you anymore, and Flagner Fail's going to plummet, and this is going to plummet. And it was the best thing ever, because I went back after getting second, and I went back to my booth, and there was a 5-hour long line.
It was the
just
total
sitting there
opposite. It's the total opposite what you
screaming.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, total opposite. No one, obviously people cared about the show, but they don't care whether I get first
Or last.
second, or last.
You could be dead last. They wouldn't care.
They won't care.
Mm.
And then even going to do the Arnold the following and getting second again, same thing. It was like,
But isn't
cool,
that
whatever.
But
like,
isn't that awesome to know though that
Yeah,
doesn't
to know
matter
that
doesn't matter where you place. Your
it
fans
doesn't
got your
matter.
back just like Rob.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking from the outside, and I can see people be like, almost like jealous. How does she do that? I mean, how do you? And it's a personality thing. There's nothing that you can specifically do. It's just who you are. I guess that's just your personality, and you are a bubbly, outgoing. You know, when somebody sees you, I just want to hug you too. I feel like you need a hug. So this
Good.
girl, yeah, that's your personality. So, but when you look at the, women physique today, because I know you've been to the Olympia, you gave out an award or something. By the way, you killed it on stage. You looked awesome.
Dang. It was the black pants.
The leather pants, whatever that was. Yeah, the shiny pants.
Yes.
But when you look at the way women physique, I don't know if you call it evolved, or how do you see what happened to the sport of women physique in particular? Do you think they gotten better, or do you think it's too much? Because here's what I want to say before you start. People ask, why did she stop competing? And I remember I had a conversation with one particular person, and I said, you know what? I don't believe she's ready to do what she maybe needs to do in order to compete with some of those girls.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying nothing. You know what I'm talking about. I said she's just not ready to do it, because I believe, and I think that's still accurate. You're always natural.
Joe Weider's Olympia here in Orlando, Florida. A little bit strange coming out of Las Vegas for all of those years.
Good evening, and welcome to the event that nearly never happened.
There's been an absence of a particular group of people on this stage that are back tonight. Tonight I'm here to say, welcome back to Miss Olympia.
So, and for you to, and I 100,000% believe you, because, there's signs that I would see, or hear, or, there would be some signs, and I 100% believe that you are always natural, lifetime natural, and you weren't probably ready to do what you have to do in order to get to that level. Could have been played a little bit of role.
Yeah. So Rob had stepped in just because, I was becoming like just fitness had everything to do with my life, and that's great. But the gym, it changes the way you think about the gym. It changes the way you think about eating. So we would go out to a nice dinner, not off season, and I would obviously order whatever because it's dinner and we don't do it all that much. And I would get dessert, and I would instantly want to be fuck, why did I do that? I would go home and go do cardio at that kind of it's too much. And same thing, if I never missed a day of training, and everything involved around training and food, and I wasn't able to focus on business stuff. So he was like, you know what? I just feel like you need a break, mentally. So that was, it was more so I was just taking a break mentally. And then I haven't really returned because of how far it progressed.
Right.
In just a couple of years.
Yes. So now that's what we're getting to right now. So when you look at the women physique today, what do you see happened?
It's the natural evolution of all the different divisions. You look at bikini and how much they've evolved. It's just the natural, even looking at my 2013 Olympia to 2014 Olympia. Like, I evolved and I got better because you don't want to keep looking exactly the same. I didn't get bigger. I got like leaner and harder. I feel like I've maxed out. Like, I feel like this is as big as I get.
Well, on a natural level, you achieve something that most people can't.
Yeah, and
but it's through hard work, and that's what shows.
Yeah, I start, whereas a lot of people only start out like 18 weeks out. I usually start unofficially at like 30 weeks out. I give myself so much time because my legs, because I'm natural, they are the very, very last thing that come in, and they just need so much time to finally like get all the fat and water out of them. Mm-hmm. It takes forever. So, and then usually, like if the Olympia's in September, we would start beginning of May. Like, so it takes me, about 5 months of my life that's completely all dedicated to just one day,
right.
Which is crazy.
Right. So, I mean, coming back is not an option, is it?
I mean, it is, but I would do it a different way. I would do it for me, obviously, but I would also we always talk about it, Rob and myself always talk about it, because the people, you say like everyone loves me, but there's some people that absolutely hate me because they just don't believe me that I'm natural, because I claim it, and I'm not allowed to claim it.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, there's people in this world that are just a little bit better, or I work a little bit harder, I've also been an athlete since I was 5.
Right.
Or if you saw me in person, I'm only 132 pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm not that big.
Right, right. And you are, I know firsthand that this is absolutely possible, and I believe you 100,000%. There's no doubt in my mind that you're telling the truth. And the ones that don't believe you, those are the ones that they don't hate you for who you are. They just don't like that you say something that they don't believe is possible.
Yeah. They don't think it's possible.
I had an athlete for a couple of years, and he's super clean. Never in his life took a pill. Never took a steroid in his life. He came to me, and we started training together. He was in the active duty military. He was also a cancer survivor. Okay,
oh, wow.
so he had bone cancer at one point while he was in the military, and they got that sorted out, and then he's beautiful shape, unbelievable genetics. I saw that right off the bat. I said, listen, you should start training and start competing. So he was Robert Timms. You probably heard of him before. He was classic physique, tall. He's got that. He looks like kind of like Tyrese. So he was basically doing shows in the physique because there was no classic at that time, and he was just too big for physique. His upper body was just too wide, and he couldn't hide it. Because I remember he did the Arnold in main physique, and I told him, I said, get your shoulders together. Don't flex. Don't do nothing. Just stand there.
Stand there.
And as soon as they announced classic physique, I said, this is made for you. He turned pro within 2 shows, won his first 2 or 3 pro shows. He did 2 or 3 Olympias so far. All natural. So and people don't believe him, because I remember I was putting pictures up, and I said, listen, $50,000. I said, $10,000 from you, $50,000 from me. You choose the lab. We get them tested. If it's positive, you get the 50.
That's what we wanted to do.
Yeah. Nobody.
So we were going to put it out there, like anyone. You can come whenever you want, and just test me whenever you want.
Yeah, 50,000 to 10,000. Nobody came through.
Yeah,
that was the end of the story.
Yeah, I was going to try to, if I did, like, it would just be sort of like a hard flex, like, hey, one, I'm going to look like a pipsqueak on stage. So maybe then it's like, okay, put me next to the girl that's number 1, and you'll see a difference. I'm going to be much, much smaller.
So what keeps you motivated to stay in shape all year round? What motivates you every day?
It's just like a part of my life.
I think you like me. You just used to looking like this, and there's no way I give this up as long as I have the power to hold it.
Yeah. This is what I want to look like. This is what I like to look like. So it takes work to do that. Because I can't say I'm motivated. Like, there's probably one day out of the week where I'm motivated, and that's just shoulder day. Every other day it's like, ugh. But yeah, it's just a part of my life. That's just what I do. But
you still train even if you're not motivated.
Oh yeah.
That means that means you are motivated enough. I mean, if I'm not motivated, I don't train. I don't go. I just don't go.
Oh, I just make myself work out.
So what about kids? You think about having babies?
That's the question of everybody's mind.
Yeah, because you guys look. I mean, come on, there got to be some DLBs.
We'd be the coolest parents ever.
Can you imagine what would happen if you guys would have a baby? Can you imagine? You would be selling baby clothes.
I know, it would be cute.
Yeah. You guys ever talked about it?
We did. We just started talking about it like within the last year or two, because I'm going to be 38. And now I'm like,
you look 25, so don't worry about that. Listen, a doctor will tell you you're good to go. You're in shape.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Wow, where did all the time go? Because from 23, I'm dead. We're broke, trying to have a house and all these car payments and house payments and blah. Then we started Flagner Fail, back to being broke, and then I get into fitness, and then fitness, I can't take a year off to have a baby and then try to get that back up. So we're here now, and then I'm like, wow, we're getting kind of old. Shit, did we miss the window?
No, you didn't miss the window. You're still good. Especially in the shape that you're in.
We're sort of just letting it, we're not focusing on it, because both of us are we're sort of both just bleh. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, we're not mad about it at all.
You're not stressing.
We're both a little selfish, and not selfish. We like to travel. We like to not have to worry about stuff. We can pick up and go. We just have a dog, and the dog can come with us. So it's oh, do you want to go to you want to just go somewhere? And it's baby, I don't know.
Can you imagine? I think the line would be twice as much. And as long as they already are, they would be twice as long, just because everybody wants to see the baby.
Yeah. It would
I would travel just to see the baby.
We'll do baby tour.
Yeah, think about this. Dana Linn Baby. We would change your name to Dana Linn Baby.
Yeah.
So that's just food for thoughts, I think that would be.
Yeah, so we're leaving it up to the world.
Okay.
So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, not worried about it.
Tell me about you guys moving to Montana. What's this? Does the invite still stand?
What's that?
The invite still stands for me coming out to visit you guys.
Always.
You guys have a farm or something out there, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of weird stuff. So we moved out here. 3-4 years ago. We're going on 4 years. So this was the one place that when Rob was growing up, his parents, this was their last vacation before they had him. Mm-hmm. So growing up, all he saw were pictures of Glacier National Park, because they backpacked. They were super adventurous. They got off the train station, walked into the park, walked and hiked, and then camped, and then hiked. So growing up, he just saw this as this magical place. So when we first got married, we didn't have money for the first couple years. So the first year, he bought me a manila envelope, and it just had pictures of Glacier, saying one day we're going to go here. And then the next year, we bought sleeping bags for each other. And then the next year, we bought a tent. And then by the 4th or 5th year, we finally came, because our anniversary and our birthday all fall within the same week. So we came out here for a week, and that's just what we did for 4 years straight. And we came here the first year, and we're like, wow, I could live here. And finally we found Whitefish, because we were staying in Columbia Falls, and there's only one restaurant. There's not much.
Really out in the country.
Some parts are very out there. Mm-hmm. So then we took a drive, and we came to Whitefish, and Whitefish is where the ski resort is. It's the cutest little town. It has like little shops, coffee shops, and it's so cute. And we're like, oh, wow, we could actually live here. So we instantly like started shopping for houses, and like 2 years later bought a house. We were just going to Airbnb it, but then it would be that we could come out here for like a month at a time and still be able to work. And then we came back to Pennsylvania, and we were like, well, I don't want to go back. Why are we doing this? Why are we waiting until we're retired? Because then we're like, no, let's just do it now. And we uprooted Flagner Fail, moved. We shipped out everything on 10 tractor trailers. His brother and his wife came out because his brother works for us. And then 2 of our employees, Austin, which you probably have met. Austin is lead in everything. So he's a huge part of our life. And then Steph she moved from Rochester, New York to Pennsylvania. And then 2 months later, we're like, hey, we're going to Montana. You want to come?
So everybody moved out there with you?
Just four employees and then Rob's parents.
So how did you find a farm? Did you choose a farm? Were you looking for a farm, or you just saw an opportunity?
Well, I kind of had a farm in Pennsylvania. I had goats, chickens.
Oh,
ducks,
so the goat
turkey.
stuff. So because I remember this goats. That was before.
Yep, and we drove them out to Montana with us in the back of our truck. It was amazing. I would get out at gas stations and put them all on leashes and go for a walk, and people would be like, those are weird looking dogs.
So how big is the land?
So we are on 20 acres.
Wow.
But it's nice because everyone around us is on 20 acres, so we don't see anybody.
So is it cheap up there in Montana, or is it expensive?
Not anymore.
So not anymore.
Not anymore. Not with
'cause
everything happening.
Because somebody brought up Montana in my household, and my wife was like, because she's from Thailand, it's green, it's like, exotic, it's all humidity. And she said she saw pictures of the person that was hunting in Montana. She saw all the trees and the green. She said, oh, because we're in Arizona.
Yeah.
She said, I want to move there. And then I said, do you know they have snow in winter?
Yeah, we have a lot of snow.
Yeah.
First year we moved, we had about 7 feet at our house. So we had the goats. So I had to plow a little circle track for them so they could run around. And the walls were taller than me. It was crazy.
So what are you guys doing? You using all 20 acres, or you just...
we will at some point. Right now it's super dense woods, so we're gonna clear it out and make dirt tracks and stuff for side by sides and dirt bikes, and
I can see that. I can see myself doing stuff like that too. I'm just not good with the winter. I'm not good.
Yeah, winter is long. You have to enjoy snow stuff. But we snowmobile and snowboard. So
I grew up.
As long as you do outdoor stuff, then you're good.
Yeah, I like outdoor stuff. I mean, in summer or when it's not cold, I like, fishing and all that stuff. I love all that stuff. The winter, I grew up in Germany, so I'm not.
Yeah, you're done with it.
Yeah, I'm done with winters, She's at a point now where she said, okay, we could do the winter, I said, I remember when we went from Thailand to Germany, And
wow.
The first week, 2 weeks into being cold, she was always running around wrapped up and rolled into a blanket like a hot dog, complaining about how cold it is. And we sitting in the apartment with the heater on. I said, So now she forgot about all that. So, but yeah, she definitely wanted to go out to Montana. When I told her I met you at the airport, you said, "Look, come out visit the farm." Yeah. I definitely one day want to come out to visit and maybe look around, because there's a few other guys that are thinking about Montana. How far is the airport from where you guys at?
20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So it's not even that far.
Super close. Yeah. We're at the perfect spot. We're in the middle of the woods on 20 acres. You don't see anyone. It feels like you're in the middle of nowhere, but we're only 15 minutes to town, 20 to 25 minutes to the airport. Yeah. It's awesome. And
what's that town called?
Whitefish.
Whitefish. I'm gonna have to look that up, or some areas up there, because I've never been to Montana. My friend goes there hunting every year with his dad. But I don't know where they're going. They're probably going somewhere in the mountains. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much land everywhere. It's awesome.
So the prices are up though. No more.
Oh my gosh.
No more snatching.
So we're in the Airbnb business. We have like 6 houses, I think.
Oh, really?
And now we can't even get a house. So we went and looked at a house, and asking price was like $650, and that's still really high. People are buying houses without seeing it, without contingencies. For like we're losing houses paying $200,000 more than asking price, and we're still losing them.
And it's the same here. People offer $50,000 on top of what they want. Yeah.
Everything is like quadruple, and it's so expensive, and everything's just, there's nothing for sale anymore. Like, and they're just building and building and building. It sucks because we came here to stay more primitive. And like you're just seeing like apartments go up all over the place, and it's just nauseating.
So you got 6 houses for Airbnb. How many businesses do you have? Oh, you guys?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I feel like we have a list somewhere. So we got Flagner Fail, our clothing line, Run Everything, our supplement line. I have my
Wait a minute. Supplement line. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What supplement line?
Run Everything. Yeah, we've been doing that for 5 years.
It's called Run Everything?
Yeah.
How come I have never heard of it?
We don't push it very hard.
Too busy.
Yeah, I mean, it actually does very well.
I believe that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's not our main focus. We're actually in the middle. I think we're doing like a complete like rebrand to it, and we're gonna bring our focus back to it because it can be a very, very profitable business.
Yeah.
And it's doing well, and we're not even thinking about it.
Right. And of course we had COVID last year. So did you realize? Did you feel COVID?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Besides, like not traveling and not doing expos at all.
You missed that?
As a business, it didn't affect us. It was nice at the beginning because there was a couple ones that I didn't feel like going to, and we were going to anyway. But now it's like, yeah, I kind of miss it because I don't get to see you. I don't get to see like all of our friends. Pretty much, we always see each other at these expos.
Yeah, but it's different for some people because in your case, it's you spent so many hours at the booth, and you don't get 2 minutes to just not do anything. You got lines all day. And I remember, I see you, and we get, a couple of times, you don't probably remember because you were sleeping, you don't know. I get on the plane, I don't know what expo it was. I don't know, Columbus or some expo. We get back, I get on my plane, and I see you already cut the plane. Yeah. We didn't even roll off yet. You're already asleep, tired. So did you ever get to a point where you're like, because we can't tell when we look at you, the way you handle yourself. I mean, totally professional, but where you at a point, anytime, where you're like, you know what, I can't do this no more.
No, and it's always just, I'm always on. I feed off of other people's energy. Mm-hmm. So like, if as soon as like a girl comes up or a guy comes up, like if they're full of energy, usually girls are like, and they'll jump on me, like, I actually feed off of it. So, yeah. I mean, if they come up, like I've had some people that like, I don't even know if they actually know who I am. They think they're just standing in line to stay in line, but they'll just come up and like, do you have any questions? Like, what's up? Like, and they're just like, no, just I want a picture. I'm like, whoa, you're draining my energy, bro. I have to keep this all day. Like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. But as soon as the expo's over, if you sit me down and I don't do anything, I'm out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, I know what it's like to be on your feet all day, talking to people and taking pictures with strangers and doing the business of our industry. And there's nobody better than you. Yeah. And I'm gonna say it one more time: you are a rock star. I appreciate your time. I am honored to have you as my guest. I can't wait for us to air this show, because I know your fans are going to love what you have to say. And then it's time for them to open up the world so Dana, Linn Bailey, and Rob can go back out, do their thing, And hopefully, I'm still in good spirit. Hopefully we'll see you guys
Very soon.
with news. I remember one time you broke the news and I was like, oh, she's pregnant. And it was about that goat or something. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was so.
I remember that.
People were so mad at that. So mad.
I read that. I was like, oh, she's pregnant. So we're expecting. That's what she said.
Yeah,
We're expecting.
a baby goat.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll still get to see that. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you so
Take
much.
care. You're awesome. She's the best.
Yay.